Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is the Boom Bar right here on your Boom Radio NG. And I bid you a warm welcome to the bar today. Today promises to be a very, very interesting one. And we're going to be talking about quite a number of things today. The federal government, today is World Suicide Prevention Day. We're going to be talking about that a lot. The federal government has officially put out a statement on the new tax laws. We're going to be talking a lot about that, when the implementation, when some of these laws are implemented, if they're implemented, when they're going to be implemented. Those are things we're going to be talking about today. For people that are around the country, national grid is down again. In case you don't have light, it's because national grid is down. Maybe some parts seem to have light back, power back. Some people might not soon, but we'll talk about that. The Senate, and then there's an update from the issue with the Senate and Senator Natasha suspension. We're going to be talking about that as well. And Nigerians are decided to they are being Nigerians again in Qatar. We're going to be talking about that as well, and a lot of other things today on the bar. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show with me. But I'm not alone. I am with Sola Rogers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the bar. It's been a minute.
Oh yeah, actually want to apologize for that. It's been a number of things, but you know, we're back, and we're going straight into the gist today. First things first, I think that one of the very interesting things that we should talk about today is today being World Suicide Prevention Day. And if you follow Boom Radio a lot, you know one of the major things that we talk about a lot is suicide prevention. And the federal government had also decided to talk about it and saying that every life matters and that we should look out for each and everybody at the end of the day.
Yes, it's that time of year again. We've had the months, we've had the moments, but today, I think it was yesterday, there was a World Suicide Prevention Day, right? It was September 9th. Yeah. Of course, the discussion continues today and all through the year. So, Dolupo had mentioned how passionate we are about it. We are partners with the Suicide Research and Prevention Initiative, which is something that we've been part of for a couple of years now. It's from our existence as an online radio station. We've always been a part of that, and a day like today, we will not let it pass without us talking about suicide. We have moved, and we're glad that the world is moving away from the stigmatization, especially in Nigeria. We're moving away from that to trying to understand, what it is and the reason why some of these things happen and what can we do about it. It's a welcome development that at least finally the government has now more or less captured this in its new health plans and all of that. So the biggest issue we had in Nigeria with suicide and suicide prevention is actually the laws. Do you know that it's actually criminalized in Nigeria? So if the country starts to recognize it to the point where it's captured in its new medical laws and all of that, that means eventually it can now be removed from being a criminal offense. You understand? Like, maybe now that we know more about it, because it's almost unbelievable that we make suicide a criminal offense. Like, so what they're trying to say is that if you want to kill yourself, or make sure you die. Because if you don't die, we will arrest you.
Yeah, going to jail.
And it shouldn't be like that. The little that we've learned working with the experts is that at times it's something beyond people's control. That's why everybody that's going through something should be taken serious. When people tell you they feel a certain kind of way, maybe that's a cry for help. So we all should look out for each other, like the federal government is saying. It's a message that we've tried to pass, and so our friends at Sopine have been passing this message for years, that we should be on the lookout for each other. everybody, every human being is going through something, you know. And there are too many misconceptions and myths surrounding suicide and suicide prevention. Some people believe that, oh, if you're wealthy or if you are rich, you can't commit suicide. No, you know, there are people who are very rich people who have gone through depression and become depressed to the point of committing suicide. You know, there are globally acclaimed chefs, you know, very popular and rich DJs, designers. You know, people have gone through it. And we mentioned that, I didn't mention the names now, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's just to use it to create awareness about suicide prevention, because it's Suicide Day. Because it's one of those days where you don't do what the day is named for.
Yeah.
You understand? If the day that is World Milkshake Day now, maybe go out and get a milkshake. You understand? And they tell you it's World Hug a Friend Day or something. But today, it's meant towards creating awareness and preventing suicide.
Anyway, so at the end of the day, we really all just need to really look out for each other. At the end of the day, we hope that you can put a smile on anybody's face. You never know what people are going through, and you never know how or if that smile might be what could be the difference between life and death with somebody else. Now let's move on from that, and let's go on to a lot of gist. And one of the major gist that is happening around the country today is the federal government officially publishing the new tax reform laws. So the president had signed the new tax reform bills, and I know that one of the major things that this administration was really going on about is the time frame as to which they could do this. Say how bills take years and years and years for it to get actualized, but this, I think, under a year they could sort it out, and the president signed it in June of this year. Now they've now put out a government gazette now telling us exactly when these laws and these acts, or not, they're not bills anymore, they're acts, will take effect. So there are actually 4 tax laws in Nigeria now: the Nigeria Tax Act, the NCA 2025, the Nigeria Tax Administration Act, NTAA 2025, the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Act, NRSEA 2025. If I'm correct, that is the one that changes FIRS to the Nigeria Revenue Service, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act, JRBEA 2025. Now, there are quite a number of things that a few things that to note in that. Now, you said one of the major things that are going to be that is in this tax bills is that small businesses with turnover of under 100 million naira and assets below 250 million naira exempted from corporate tax, basically. Now also 5% annual tax credits is introduced for eligible priority sector projects. And one thing I also wanted to put out that the NTA and the NTAA is to take effect from January 1, 2026. That's the Nigeria Tax Act and the Nigeria Tax Administration Act. The Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Act and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act had already started, is already in effect as far back as June 26, 2025. So if we go by what this law says, we do not have an FIRS anymore. As far back as June 2025, June 26, 2025, what we had was a Nigeria Revenue Service, and there's also another board called the Joint Revenue Board that started June 26, 2025. So let's start with that. And I think this was actually needed because left to me, I actually also thought that all these acts were actually going to start implementation in 2026.
Oh, well, the beauty of it is that they seem to have a roadmap, and they look like when I say they now, I mean the government, they look like they're serious about following through, on this structured and phased, execution of the new tax regime. It's a very welcome development because, again, there are a lot of disinformation and misinformation that's gone on and gone out there about the tax laws.
A lot of it.
And now the ministers, the commissioner, the SAs, all the people involved, especially in Nigeria's financial sector, from the regulatory perspective, from the government angle, they're all coming out to try to shed light, but their voices are not loud enough, because a lot of people already made up their mind. Talking about the phased enforcement of this law, like you pointed out, the 5% tax on fuel seems to be like the biggest talking point in Nigeria in the last 1 week. A lot of people are going on about how the government wants to, tax Nigerians and blah, blah, blah. But all they had to do was a little bit of research, a little bit of digging.
The sad part for me is, I know that, yes, we'll call it politics, but maybe not politicize things that are not correct. Why I said so is that I've seen the likes of, even I think Peter Obi writes a long essay on these things, only to do a bit of digging to realize that is actually not in the new tax bill, and it's supposed to be in an FRSC act a while ago that has never even been implemented, and it doesn't look like it's going to be implemented.
Yeah.
It just seemed like one person saw something somewhere, picked it up, and ran with it, and everybody seems to...
Yeah, so one of the national dailies even had one of their staff make a video about it. And of course, it definitely went viral. Everybody started talking about a 5% fuel tax. But it's not even part of the tax regime. It is actually an existing law that has a rider that the enforcement will be decided by the man in charge, which is I think it's the finance minister or something, and they could talk about it. But again, a quick look at that law. When you buy fuel to a certain amount, there's a 5% that you'll be, charged. You'll be taxed. Yeah, and it's meant towards infrastructure, road infrastructure. They're talking about how not so great is our road network, and how this could be channeled towards that.
But the truth is, it's actually even not implemented.
So that's what it is for. And it is not even new. It was passed many years ago. And according to, I think it's the CBN governor or someone, was like, look, they're not even looking at enforcing that law anytime soon.
I think it's the finance minister that said it.
That they're not going to enforce it anytime soon. So if that is the case, people should just chill for a minute. But there's nothing wrong with saying things and criticizing and talking about it. But you would expect the media to know better about the real state of things, Because if you're not being used, if you're not being induced, if you're not being paid, you say that this is what you have come up with based on research, based on the information available to you. These are serious issues, and we need to be careful how we heat up the polity, So the tax reforms itself, the crux of the matter that we're talking about at the moment before we move on to other things, I kind of like for instance, the corporate tax, you are exempt if you're not making up to 100 million naira.
Yeah.
Your company is actually exempt from that. Isn't that a good thing? Like, you actually don't have to pay corporate tax. You get income tax, personal income tax. A lot of people are not exempt from it. You get. So even the high-end earners that are being targeted, they also have some leeways that government has embedded in the thing. I'm hoping that this will be some kind of encouragement. But again, for the people who have been making a lot of money and they're within the tax bracket and they're not voluntarily paying taxes. I think they're going to have a tough time next year.
And
And they're going to look for a way. It's going to be like when subsidy was removed and the people who lost out started gaslighting everybody to make it look like we were all going to. Yes, we all felt the pinch, but some felt it more because they were making
a lot more money off it, and it had
their
cut
channels
off.
were cut off.
Oh
were-
yes.
were blocked.
So it's very interesting, but definitely we'll be giving more information about this. I hope that the federal government also puts out as much information, more and more information about these tax laws, so that there is less misinformation in the public. We don't just, and also even we as citizens, I think that, and the media, we should not just nitpick on one thing. Do a bit of research before, because the truth is a lot of people have gone on, like that 5% tax. A lot of people have gone on about it, and I'm even imploring even politicians. Yes, you have something to say, you really want to make the government look bad. It's your job at this point, but the least you can do is at least be accurate, so that it doesn't look like you don't know what you're saying or doing. It's very sad. I saw quite a number of supposed politicians to actually coming up and talking about these things, and I think that
supposed.
Yes, supposed.
There are no supposed politicians.
At this point,
If you said supposed experts, fine. But politicians.
Oh, okay. Politicians that seem to know one or two things, the least you can do is at least do a bit of research on it, so that if you're even criticizing and you expect the government of the day to take to some of your criticisms, the least you can do is come correct, so that there's something that they can actually take from that. That's it. Anyway, moving on from that, the national grid has now collapsed again today. Apparently, we've not heard that news in a while. It had been 4 months of constant moving in a good direction, and the national grid decided to collapse again today. So yeah, you probably having too much light uninterrupted. It's not gonna work. Apparently, it seems to be coming back up little by little as of last report. I think that there are even places around the places already have power here and there, but I'm guessing it's probably going to take like a little more hours before it finally comes back.
It's interesting. We were having this every other day at some point, every 3 to 4 days, and in fact, one newspaper had recorded it last year, over 100 grid crashes or thereabout, right?
I think so.
I'm not sure. But what it is for me is that I have always been a proponent of decentralization of power. You know, that we don't need a national grid per se. The national grid should not be what we're all connected to. It should be something for the federal hospitals, the roads, the police stations, the prisons, the government-owned facilities. We're supposed to have some kind of decentralized power generation and distribution system. I strongly believe in that, because look at it now. National grid goes off. When they start to reconnect it, when they start to put it back on, it could take a whole day.
Yeah, it could take a whole day. According to the last report of 2:48 p.m., there are quite a number of places that seem to have power now. Abuja has some power. Benin, Lagos State has some power with Eko and Ikeja Disco. Ibadan also has some power. Enugu has some power. Jos has not gotten some power yet. Kaduna has a little bit, and Kano has a little bit. Port Harcourt and Yola as well have not gotten power. This is as according to the last report. But so it looks like for people that do not have power yet, there might actually be power. Power might actually be back. Today.
The funny thing is, right here in this facility, we're not on the grid. We've not been on the grid for months. So, sorry, welcome to our world.
Anyway, yeah, just at this point, that's just petty. That is just petty. Anyway, the National Inland Waterways Authority has now banned unlicensed boats, saying that they're planning to enhance waterway safety. It's a very nice thing because actually in the past couple of weeks there's been a lot of boats capsizing and boat accidents and people dying back and forth. But my only question is, how do you plan to enforce this?
We have heard this
structure
before. This same story. I'm sure we have discussed it before too at the bar. We've had several boat mishaps. It's happened a lot. Used to be a lot of things in the
past couple of weeks,
southern part of
really
Nigeria, but now in the northern part of Nigeria, in Niger State to be precise, I think they had like 2 boat mishaps in the last 1 month.
It's really been bad.
It's good to make these pronunciations and pronouncements and plans and to enunciate and elucidate and propagate. But in brass tacks, what are you really doing about it? For instance, you're not allowed to drive a car in Nigeria without a driver's license.
Yeah.
It should not be different from the boats too. It shouldn't be different from the waterways. You get. That's 1. 2. If you're driving a car in Nigeria and your car is not in a good shape, notice that I said car. I did not say commercial vehicle because those ones, they have their own law, a different law. You're driving your sedan or your SUV, it must be in good shape, or else those guys in white and black, the VIO guys, can pull you over and check the condition of your car and even fine you based on that. So you see, there's a lot of personnel that they have deployed for this purpose, and they're always looking for places where you don't know they are, like trying to get on the express, or you're getting off the express somewhere around Alausa or Berger. I'm just saying. So there's VIO, there's police, there's all of that. There's federal road safety. So where is the federal waterways safety? There's Lagos State traffic where is the Lagos State water traffic management people? I'm very serious, because without enforcement, laws will not work. Yeah, you can make pronouncements that law-abiding people will stick to. But what about the ones that don't abide? And usually it's the practitioners in that industry. The people who own boats, who's checking them? Planes have their own regulations. There are things that you must do before a plane should fly. If you don't do it, you can be grounded. Who is checking the guys on the waterways? So you can make all these pronouncements all you want. If you do not have the personnel to enforce and you do not have the wherewithal, it's not going to work, and we'll still keep losing lives. Again, safety first. So dear waterways users, please also take care of yourselves. You need to understand that system well. You need to know when it's been overloaded. You need to know when they're not giving you your safety apparatus, like the life jackets with whistles and all of that. Then again, we need to start a national orientation about swimming. Swimming is meant to be a life-saving skill. It's not just meant to be an elitist thing or something that people are trying to get medals for.
It's a survival skill.
You need to have it. You need to know it. If not anything, at least the basics. How to survive in water for so long.
Yeah,
with or without a floater. We need to do all these things on a national scale.
Yep. Anyway, since you were talking about that, you talked about planes, I will just chip this in. As the NCAA met with officials of domestic airline operators today, and they're basically talking about flight disruptions. They're talking about the amount of flight disruptions that happen with the local airlines, and the attitude of the staff and the kind of sanctions they might be getting.
So everything has been in a free fall. That's the truth. And we've had this attitude in Nigeria, and we need to fix it. As long as something is working, we're fine.
But is it working though?
It's not working Yeah, it is. As long as something is working, it's functioning, we're fine. You get? It doesn't have to be optimal. And that is the problem I'm trying to highlight. They're telling you that your plane is supposed to fly for X number of hours before you go for your maintenance. Now lie. They'll be like, oh, this plane has already done the required number. We're supposed to go for this maintenance. They'll be like, hey, just take one more flight now. You know, just quickly do one round trip. That's how we've been operating. Again, there was a time when you get on a plane and the cabin crew, male or female, were well dressed and well behaved. You get? Somehow, some people from one particular profession, you know, that there's this profession, these people that when you go there, you're not feeling too well. The way they talk to you, you will be well.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's a particular building that has this particular practitioners in. They're in a different sector. But when you go there, the people that you usually meet in that facility, they're supposed to be nice people. I've never really met one. I'm not mentioning that profession.
Okay, because I'm confused.
People from that profession have found their way to the aviation sector. They are not nice anymore. They used to be. They used to look really pretty and handsome, and so everything has gone upside down. They need to change it all. Have they really trained these cabin crew people? Yeah, are they trained? By who and whom? Because these are the issues. From the gates of the airport, you just start to feel one kind of way. You know, if they're not begging you for money, they're harassing you for walking a certain way. You get, and nobody's polite anymore. It's supposed to be some form of hospitality business, and people are bringing their hard earned that you're just pushing them and treating them. So that attitude also carries into the flights. And these are all the things that they must fix, and they must fix it now, because now they have had some kind of upper hand in some recent altercations, and the airlines have, stood their grounds, and now everybody knows that you can't do this on the airline. You must switch off your phone. Airline, you too. We said it here now, and that time has come. You too. You must keep to schedule.
Yeah.
You can't be changing prices arbitrarily.
You can't be,
and your people cannot continue to be rude to customers.
Exactly. Without them, where would you get your money from to run? Anyway, let's move on from all these gist and let's go on to the Nigerian Senate. And it's very interesting. Okay, so just put it out there. I didn't have anything. This was not in the plan. I hope Rivers State people are getting ready for their governor. I think he should be back in a few days' time.
The question is the governor ready?
I'm guessing a 6-month holiday is enough. Is long enough now.
So Governor Sim Fubara should be resuming. The administrator should have packed his bags by now and to get out of River State
in about a week.
And hopefully, everything should be in place now. Politically.
Hopefully we should,
because what the problem they have in Rivers is a political problem.
Yeah, hopefully everybody should have been sorted by now. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. But so I'm going to the Senate, and this in case this is still in the matter of suspensions. Another very interesting issue is I did not also think this was also going to last. This suspension was going to last this long. And this is in the person of Senator Natasha Uduaghan. She was suspended by her colleagues in the House. It was very messy. Funny enough, we have not heard anything about it. Okay, I think the court had said nobody should talk about it anymore, yeah? So, but it was a lot of back and forth, but we've not heard anything. However, there was a letter that was released by the clerk of the House, of the Senate, and basically, apparently, 6 months was complete. I think a couple of days ago.
Can I ask you first?
Yeah.
When you say the clerk released the letter Did the clerk make it public?
Okay, it was signed by the clerk. I don't know who released the letter.
Yeah, I just wanted us to set that record straight.
Yeah. So the apparently our 6 months is supposed to be completed a couple of days ago, and she wrote to the clerk. I know that she had wanted to go there. There's a lot of back and forth. The court had asked that the Senate should bring her back. The Senate had not brought her back. You remember there was some issues when she wanted to storm in and the gates were locked. She couldn't get entry into the Senate building. And now she's written officially to the clerk to allow her back. And according to that letter, if it is true, the clerk had said that since she took some case to the court and the court has not determined this particular case, I think in the appeal court, until the court cases are done, or court cases, whichever one is done, she would not be allowed into the house.
Now, this has led to a lot of hue and cry. A lot of people have come out to say this is wrong. They shouldn't be doing this. The way they're treating her is bad. The APC is showing that they're not good people. The Akpabio-led Senate is not doing well. This is what a lot of people are saying. But I like to stick with the facts, you know. You're the one that alleged that you were assaulted sexually. And before we even get to the resumption date, what this basically means is that this scandal broke 6 months ago. Until today, still no evidence of any sexual harassment. I repeat, I am not saying that the person that has been accused is innocent or not innocent. I'm just saying that the accuser has to prove, you have to prove that this actually happened, so that this type of people can be kicked out of government. Are you saying now the man has sat there for 6 months after you alleged that he had done something to you? A lot of people have come up with counter arguments of how you still traveled with him abroad and other things. You still stayed in the house the night you alleged that he said what he said or did some things, and amongst other things that he did in the Senate, allegedly by you against him, allegations by you against him, leveled by you. Now, after all said and done, you actually breached house rules. Let's put sentiments aside. It's the sitting arrangements and all of those things. There are rules governing it, governing the entire house. I just remember how unruly this woman was, shouting everybody down that day. I have my right, you can't shut me. 6 months. Then you went on that junket across the globe.
Yeah.
But you still did 6 months.
Okay. What did that do now?
Then they invited.
There was Sky News. There was, oh my God.
Then they invited your people to a panel. The people that wrote a petition on your behalf, because you couldn't write it according to the law. Then they went there and they were unruly. They refused to do what they actually went there to do. Or is that what they went there to do? See, the law will always stay. These are the real issues. Everybody's being sentimental. Oh no, why? She's a woman. She's pretty. She's fine. She's skinny. 6 months.
Oh, wow.
6 months.
All that. Oh, I had forgotten all that.
Old judge and jury that you raised on social media. 6 months. Now your 6 months don't pass again, Seth. You don't pass.
Because you took these people to court at the end of the day.
Then you tried to force your way into the house. But now it's 6 months. Who are your advisors? You can fight this system, fight the people, but not like this. And
is it safe to say that Senator Natasha and shout out to Governor Sim Fubara, they're the same WhatsApp group?
Yeah, it looks like it. Suspensions happened right about the same time. You know? So, y'all need to chill. Put your sentiments aside. Study the law. Oh, man. Sorry. She's a lawyer. Study the law.
And I think that
use
it's time we can't be sentimental with things, and that's the truth. I think that she did a lot of things. She did. First things first, I would say that after all those allegations, I would have thought that there would have been a court case suing the Senate president for these allegations. She had gone through to so many media houses talking about how she has some evidence, and we're still waiting on this evidence. I think that it is wrong to cry foul and do all that drama if you really did not have evidence. It is just wrong on all levels. And after doing all that, let's even take aside the law. After all the drama that you went through in the house, do you think that the house is also going to just sit down and just welcome you with open arms? It doesn't work like that now. The truth is, do I think that maybe the Senate can bring her back? I think they can. But also, now, since you started with going to the law, they're going to continue. So it means that the case is in the appeal court. In the next 1 year, if that case is not, if there is no judgment, Auntie, you are sitting at home.
And when she eventually resumes, she's going to sit down where they told her to sit down.
I was even going to ask, on the side of the law now and on the side of representation.
Yeah.
Now, is it also now, looking at it from the side of her constituents, shouldn't the Senate also look into it? Are they going to declare her seat vacant and have by-elections, or they bring her back? Because I think it's also unfair on her constituents that they do not have. It's a whole senatorial district.
If there are court cases pending, that nothing happens. You have to wait.
So everything is just pending.
Well, that's the scenario.
So everything that is supposed to accrue to her senatorial district and all that everything is pending.
Well, that's the sad situation. That's the reality.
Not sure Mrs. Senator thought of our constituents really well before, but I feel that if on the side of that, if there's anything the Senate can do, at least for the sake of our constituents, should please do. That's where I'm going to come from that angle. Anyway, Lagos State government is set to remove illegal structures under the high tension in Makoko community. And why this is very interesting is because just yesterday there was a lot of hue and cry on the third mainland. There was a protest because there were a bit of demolitions that happened around Oronshoki. Looked like earlier for a few months, seemed like Lagos State had put maybe a break on demolitions, but looks like they're back on it again. And they're saying that these demolitions happened after there were talks and back and forth. There had been a lot of times they had asked, I think even in the part of Oroshoki, they had said that in that area there was only one person that came to the office to talk about it and put out papers and all that. And over and over and over again, there's always the conversation of when you want to buy a house, when you want to buy land, do you have proper documentation? And I think is that solves any issue whatsoever.
The Oronshoki debacle is something that everybody has, a lot of people have approached solely from the sentimental and the emotional perspective of it. It's something that engagements with the stakeholders in Oronshoki started 3 years ago. So they've had 3 years to fix this, if it was fixable. Now, Makoko, they're talking about shanties, especially the ones built under the power lines.
Yeah.
If you find yourself on the Lagos-Calabar road, okay, what does that got to do with Makoko? Just come with me. If you find yourself on the Lagos-Calabar road, you will find the mother of all shanties.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was last week or 2 weeks ago.
And they're all new.
However, it's a fine road though. When that road is done, it's going to be a very beautiful road.
There are parts of Lagos Calabar when you're heading towards Okun Aja, where behind the fence that they just, the fence is new, you will see it. There are several shanties.
It's crazy.
You look at it like an entire community has emerged
didn't
there.
they just build this?
So, one, it shows that we have a big housing problem. It shows that the rural-urban migration has not abated in any way. It's, in fact, on the increase. Again, the places where these people have chosen, it's expensive. It's the beachfront. It's the island. So you're building those shanties where even if government decides to say they want to come and build 10,000 apartments now,
you won't be able to afford
most of those people won't be able to afford it because of the value of the land in that axis. So this problem, we should put sentiment aside. What type of country do we want? What type of Lagos do we want? What type of Ondo or Abia or Kano or Kaduna or Port Harcourt or Warri do we want? One that anybody can wake up and build anything anywhere, or one that follows a master plan, structured, organized, one where you need a building permit before you put up structures.
Yeah.
So in Makoko, we've been there like a billion times. You would know that it's a ticking time bomb. And very soon, when there's enforcement, we're all going to come out again to hit at the government. Government is not fair.
Yeah.
Even if they want to do it, it shouldn't be now. Then when? Then when? I'm just saying that if we all live within our means and we all live, safely, I think most of these things can be avoided.
Anyway, so we'll see what is going to happen in Makoko, and we'll see what people are going to say about it. But now let's go to some things. When they say Nigeria, and it's something a lot of people say, that Nigeria will happen to you. Now Nigerians are decided to be happening to some people in some countries. Nigerians. Before we go to Nigerians abroad, first one, police have decided to arrest a traditional ruler in this country. Guess what? For what?
For what?
For shooting his sibling.
Excuse me.
In the head.
Okay. Why did he shoot his sibling in the head?
I don't know. So, Abak, local government area of Akwa Ibom State, the village head was arrested for allegedly shooting his sister in the head, and she sustained various degrees of injury. However, he was reported, a report was filed by another of their sibling, another chief, that his own brother has shot his sister.
It's tragic at the most, It's very sad, and I don't know when we became that type of community where we carry out this kind of things. It's also very scary.
It is sad. According to preliminary investigation, they said that it was a misunderstanding over palm fruits.
Yeah, so palm fruits is enough for you to off someone.
Yeah.
Or
your
permanently
sibling,
disable the person.
Your sibling, for that matter. And then you now wonder, yeah? But anyway, before we move on from that, and like I said, Nigerians behaving funny in other places. Now, Qatar has now officially announced that Nigerian men cannot travel on their own anymore. Like, you have to travel as a family. So, to go to Qatar now, there are quite a number of things that you have to do, basically.
Yeah. For instance, you have to travel with your family.
You have to travel.
You have to have a deposit that you would some amount of money that you're going to put down, and they're saying it also. This applies to people who have already
Yeah, and then when
applied
you're
for the visa.
for you to get
It's
your
not even
visa,
something futuristic. It's now.
there's also a part where you have to. It has to be a 5-star hotel. Your accommodation has to be a 5-star hotel.
Look, the beauty of what the Qataris have done is that they've built their country to the point where there's a demand for visas to visit. But some Nigerians have gone there, Nigerian men, they've gone there and they started to misbehave.
Yeah.
They started to fight themselves. They started to do all sorts of things. And these guys are looking at it. They see the business angle to it. A lot of Nigerians travel and spend money in these places. And forget the oil money or not, these guys are making a lot of money from tourism.
Yeah.
And you are all tourists. So, easy motion.
So you want to come? And I think it makes all the sense in the world. The only sad part is that when you do these things, you now affect other people that they're just regular people that just want to do business.
A lot of you guys are quick to, the passport is bad. The Nigerian passport
How
is
is the
this.
passport
The Nigerian
bad?
passport. Now you they spoil them now. Now you. Yes, you were the point to. Now
I'm
you they spoil 'em.
talking about people
Now you they spoil
spoiling
'em.
it. About 7 Nigerians have been arrested in India for drug trafficking. What is wrong with you people? You see, I say it a lot, and it might look like as if I might be, what's it called? It's bad enough to commit crime in your own country. Not saying that it's right, but it's bad enough that you know, there might still even be a bit of waivers here and there. How do you go? First, you go to Qatar. India is far.
When you watch
I don't know
videos,
what you people do.
when you watch videos of Nigerians in other people's countries fighting themselves with machetes and guns at times and all sorts of things, you just be like, what's going on? Did you really raise money to fly out of Nigeria to go be a gangster
go and be
in those places?
unfortunate.
And you know the sad part is they are attacking themselves. They're actually attacking themselves. Like it's Nigeria versus Nigeria. Do you get?
Y'all are just a lot. Like it's a lot. And like you said, you now come and say, "Oh, the passport. How is the passport going to be good?" You think it's because
We need to stop these things.
Do you know how many countries President Tinubu has gone in the past 1 year? Nobody is stopping him from going nowhere. They are even the ones inviting him. You are the one that they will not allow to enter. And that's the truth. Anyway, Japan Airlines has now been hit with a second warning this year. Why? Because apparently there was a delay of 3 flights. Why? Because it was found out that the pilot that was supposed to go on those flights was drunk, and this second time is happening this year.
Hey, yeah. Living Las Vegas is happening live in Japan.
But are you high? Like, why would you be doing that?
You're asking someone that is drunk if he's high.
Okay.
Are you okay?
I agree. That didn't come out right.
The thing there about aviation is that there are very strict laws. In fact, it's the same with driving.
I was
It's
going
the same
to
with
say that.
driving
What's the
vehicles.
difference?
It's the same with virtually everything we do. So now it's becoming like systemic that they have more than one pilot that's high on their own supply. You understand? But thank God, that the people did not fly. Because, you know, you honestly don't want one pilot looking at the runway and saying, no, it's too far. Be well. They're already there. And at the end of the day, innocent lives will definitely be lost.
Yeah.
So thank God that they caught it. And rather than, complain, I hope the people there were happy to say, thank God this person didn't fly us. But now they seem to have like a systemic problem. And I hope they fix it before it becomes a pandemic. Because just picture a scenario where out of like 50 flights a day, half of the pilots can't go because they are high.
Okay. Anyway, moving on from that quickly, there are quite a number of protests that's been going around in a lot of countries France is having their own share. Nepal it's really sad things that are happening. The pictures and videos that are going on in Nepal, and I saw a video of people looting things, and it's funny how you're protesting against corruption and you're doing the same thing.
Yeah. You know,
I think it's safe to say that these protests don't do anything.
When people tell you that you don't really hate corruption, you just hate the fact that you are not the one benefiting from it. Because it doesn't make any sense now. You feel someone has looted your country, so you now go and loot the house. You understand? I saw DR Congo people destroying their stadium yesterday because of World Cup qualifier. Bros, now go still use that stadium. now money they go still take repair.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
it's
so
really
even
crazy.
if you're going to protest, it's not about destroying things. And some people are like, they were able to kick out someone and blah blah blah. Let's see, because a lot of the countries where these things have happened, they've always turned out worse off.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because they're not well organized, they're not well structured. Yes, we always talk about how is the spontaneity that shows the authenticity of a protest. Yes, in most cases, in some cases. But beyond that,
it never really does anything.
End up not really being able to push the proper agenda to say, these are the things that's wrong with our country, and we've kicked this person out, and we want this other person to do the right thing.
Most of those countries have never really how do we say it now? Never really recovered. In fact, let's even not go all through the country. Take Nigeria for example. I think I can say categorically, like, there is no, after all the coups and all the things that are happening in Nigeria, it's safe to say that Nigeria has not even recovered. As early as Lagos State, for example, Rivers State, for example, in 2020 with the NSARS thing, it's safe to say that there's states in Nigeria that has really not recovered from that, and it didn't even
all the back-to-back protests in Kenya.
Yeah.
What exactly did they really achieve?
What has it achieved?
At the end of the day, you get. So, this are the issues. However, I saw a Nigerian lawyer that was quoting these videos and more or less inciting the crowd. Look, let's be careful how we use this popularity that we have garnered. Let's be careful, because it's easy to destroy.
Some people that are not bright. That's all I can say. Some people,
let's just be careful.
That's what people are. Okay, they've said I should stop saying it.
Let's be careful.
Anyway, quickly moving on from that, Indonesia is really battling with a lot of floods around Bali and Flores at the moment. I just wanted to put this out there. Just wanted to do a bit of recap. We know that this weekend was a lot of World Cup qualifiers going on around. It's official. About 15 teams have already qualified. There's Japan, there's New Zealand, there's Iran, Argentina, Uzbekistan, South Korea, Jordan, Australia, Brazil, Ecuador, Uruguay, Colombia, Paraguay, Morocco, and Tunisia. Looks like Morocco and Tunisia are the only two African teams that have qualified at the moment. And it looks like it's still really bleak for most. There's really not a major pathway for a lot of African teams yet, e.g. Super Eagles.
At the end of the day, you're going to find out that it's the most qualified countries when it comes to sports organization that will find it easy to go to the World Cup. You find out that these countries have the best leagues in Africa. They have the best FAs. They have the best sporting facilities, but not necessarily the best talent.
Yeah.
But a wise man once said, talent they waste.
Yeah.
You know?
Cape Verde defeated Cameroon.
Yeah. Talent they waste. And why is talent wasting? Arguably, the most talented team when it comes to individual skills and when it comes to the front line, I'm talking front line now in the whole of Africa. Back-to-back African awards. It's Nigeria.
Yes.
And she's not likely going to go to the World Cup.
Don't look like it. It don't look like it.
If Osimhen was playing for Algeria, Egypt, Morocco, South Africa, Kenya, Ghana, do you think they will be struggling? Ademola Lookman, Tolu Arokodare, Cyril Dessers, all of them top strikers in their clubs. All of them. Every single one of them. Do you think any of these countries that I mentioned will be struggling? Who plays for Cape Verde? Can you mention their players? These guys are 1 second away from the World Cup.
Yep.
Just one heartbeat like this, bam, World Cup. Even if they dock 3 points off South Africa, there's still no guarantee that Nigeria will go to the World Cup.
Yes, it's very bleak. It's quite bleak.
We have had about 4 coaches in our World Cup qualifiers. Check which African country has gone through that. Oh, you don't believe me? They had Passero. They had Finidi George. They had Eguavon somewhere in between. And they have, what's his name
Eric
now?
Shell.
Shell. Now, Shell came when things were really bad. But we're going to blame him anyway. But the man made a messed up campaign.
Yeah, it was already...
Get not raw that we chased away. We chased him.
Looks like
Look
very
at what he's doing
Republican.
with the country that he went to. Are you going to compare these two countries when it comes to skills and talent? But talent is not enough. Because if you have talented players and you do not have skilled administrators, you would have the Nigerian Football Federation and everything that's happening in and around Nigerian sports.
I even saw a post where the NFF were picking out players and
they're blaming them.
Players. I'm like, we've stooped so low.
The funny thing is, now when you blame those players and they refuse to play for you anymore,
what happens?
You're going to beg. In a country that has thousands of footballers, but you still go to countries that have developed people of Nigerian descent to have a team, you think you can afford to abuse 1 or 2 players? Now, let's talk about the players. I do not see the commitment that shows they really want to go to the World Cup.
Apparently, I thought that a while ago they seemed like people that they were really into.
I do not see the commitment. But maybe it's me. Maybe it's my glasses. Maybe I do not know how to see well anymore. But it's been years since I watched an Eagles game with confidence. That, forget it. We're winning. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time. Every game we approach is with fear. And trembling. Let's just get something out of it.
Lord.
We are losing games at home in Nigeria. So I blame the administrators. I blame the federal government. I blame the players. And I blame some of us, the fans, too. Why? And I especially blame the Nigerian sports writers, whom I am a part of. Because one of the biggest things that we failed to do
hyping nonsense
was to speak the truth.
Yeah, be hyping
to
nonsense. Hyping nonsense.
And anybody don't like what I'm saying, take a minute to look at it and say, because you know what they say, truth hurts. Congratulations to all the countries that have qualified. The best of Africa is already on its way there.
Yep. Anyway, on that note, that is all we have to take today on the Boomba. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of the Boomba.